unified technician access approach. That's the theme for today on this demo. So we should be live. I see it live over there. Should be streaming to like a bunch of different places. As soon as we get the thumbs up from our production staff, our lovely Emily running production in the background, we will let you know that we'll start. Till then, you just get to look at my lovely face and let technology connect to the places technology connects to and do its things. Hey, we got a thumbs up. So, welcome to TechIDManager's demo for August 7th, 2025. We're going to talk about TechIDManager, introduce you to our unified technician access process, where you can use one platform to give technicians access to all of your MSP clients. TechIDManager is a privileged account management package for MSPs, a unified account management package. The problem that TechIDManager solves is at an MSP, you have a bunch of technicians. Those technicians need access to a bunch of different places. Domains, Windows machines, Mac machines, Entra ID tenants, Office 365, all these places. And then you need to grant them individualized access and control that access en masse across a wide variety of clients. And that needs to be done in a unified manner. So that's what TechIDManager is. It's a unified technician access platform, where a technician can go to one place and find the access that they need to all of their clients, to all of the devices that their clients, to find all the passwords that they need, find all the accounts that they need. And they need to only see their accounts. They need, and the accounts that they've been granted access to use. That's what TechIDManager does. How does it do this? Does this sound interesting to you? If it sounds interesting to you, stay with us. We'll bring up the product, we'll show it, we'll actually use it, and then we'll talk about it more, because that's what this is for. It's a demo, a live demo. We just talk about TechIDManager because that's our product. TechIDManager looks like this. It is one screen that has a bunch of different types and ways of access for a technician into client infrastructure. Whether that client infrastructure is like this account, Tacoma.net MSP.admin, we can see this is a domain account that's shared between different people. Whether it is like this account, a Mac account that's individualized to a specific user, but is also a just-in-time account and only exists when they need it. There are also Entra ID accounts, like this MartinTechIDManager.onmicrosoft.com account that isn't available until I tell it to enable, and then it's available. Lots of accounts. There, it's enabled, ready to go. There's lots of different places that TechIDManager makes and maintains accounts, lots of different ways in which it maintains accounts and protects those accounts, and lots of different ways you can use those accounts. Let's look at a basic on-prem access to a machine via TechIDManager. Here I have Screen Connect open, or ConnectWise control, to a machine on the 𝗫 domain. I, as a technician, traditionally would use some shared admin account with a password in a documentation tool to access this machine. That doesn't give any traceability, doesn't give accountability, it doesn't give all those things that cybersecurity frameworks and compliance frameworks require that you have for a technician when they access a place. All the fancy words that are in those cybersecurity guidelines say that an account should belong to a person and you should never share that account. How does TechIDManager help you meet that cybersecurity compliance requirement and that actual security requirement? Well, when they need access to that 𝗫 domain, they bring up the TechID client. Somewhere in here is an account for that 𝗫 domain. There could be 10 accounts here, there could be 10,000 accounts here. I'm gonna click Search Windows, and when I do that, TechIDManager went out on my machine and said, hey, it looks like you are trying to access this 𝗫 account or a machine on this 𝗫 domain. We think this is the account you need. I think it's this domain account that is unique to me with the name Martin_Black-admin@jeep.org is the account I need. It is the account I need. I could copy that username and paste it in. I could copy that password and paste it in. But even easier, without using the copy-paste buffer on my machine, I'm just click Send Both and tell it where to inject those credentials and then the TechID client is going to inject my username and my password in this window and get me logged in. As a technician, I know that I got logged in, an account that's unique to me, password that changed sometime in the last 24 hours, rights that are unique to me, and I'm logged in, ready to do whatever it is I need to do on this machine, quickly, efficiently, with 3 button clicks without having to look in, type up, copy, paste any information. I'm just logged in, ready to go. Very quick, very efficient from a technician usage perspective, and very powerful from a administrative rights management, traceability, compliance perspective for the people that own and manage and run the operations at an MSP also. Makes sense? Should make sense. So that 𝗫 account is this one of many accounts. If I wanted to use this 𝗦𝗫CID account that I enabled just a minute ago, I would bring up portal.azure.com. I can inject the username. This one, we'll just do copy and paste. I can copy the username, paste it in here. I need my password. I can copy my password. It's only in the copy paste buffer for 30 seconds when you copy it. I need the TOTP. That's also in here. I can copy it. It's valid for the next 26 seconds, 25 seconds. Verify that. And now I'm logged in to an 𝗦𝗫CID or an Office 365 or Azure AD account with credentials in that specific tenant for my client that were made for me, managed, password rotated every 24 hours, protected with rights that are specific to me as a technician who should have access to this place. Which means that unlike a global admin account in a documentation tool where everybody shares the same password and username and thus the same rights, at an MSP that's using TechIDManager, you can have different rights for each person that are maintained and protected on the account that they go access to. You can set this up cross-tenant en masse so that all your level 1 technicians have one set of rights. So they are global readers, they're user administrators, they're maybe a SharePoint administrator. So they can reset people's passwords, they can do those things, but they're not global administrator. They can't spend money, they can't do other bad things. They can't have least privileged access, for the technical word about it. And this account is in this specific tenant. So if someone does get access or they do something stupid because they've done the cybersecurity training but they don't follow it, they forgot it, if they click on something wrong and they're logged in here, there is no cross-tenant migration for a hack or bad action. This account is siloed, protected, and managed in just this tenant. Just like the account on the domains, silo protected there, passwords unique there. No other thing could be compromised if that account is compromised. So this siloing is a huge benefit, unlike GDAP or Lighthouse or the SIPs or other places that grant access from one tenant to another. If the technician account gets compromised in one of those situations, the horizontal movement through the ecosystem because of what access that tenant, that client, that technician has, can be dramatic, can be very bad. Siloed accounts for an MSP that accesses different clients is the correct way to go based on cybersecurity frameworks. It's also the most secure way, in our opinion. So those are 2 types of accounts. There are also Mac accounts, they're individual Windows computers accounts. Like this server account here is a Windows account that's made and maintained for me on a Windows machine that's not joined to a domain. We can also do lapse style rotation of account, but our lapse style implementation of a shared account does not have to be joined to a domain or 𝗦𝗫CID. That machine can be a standalone work group Windows machine with a shared account that you want on it. It does not need to be online for that to work. Unlike Microsoft Lapse. Lapse is a decent basic implementation, but there are some significant limitations to it that TechIDManager overcomes and removes completely so that you can have cross-tenant access, offline, all those kind of things. And we can layer on top of all those just-in-time access. We have recently added a Mac agent so that you can do accounts on Macs. Like we said, unified privileged account management for MSP technicians across a multitude of platforms. In addition to that, because it's a unified access to credentials and passwords, there's both a personal password vault and a shared password vault, where you can grant technicians access to see different credentials that are not managed by us, but yet you still want stored securely inside TechIDManager. We can store all kinds of things. We can store MFA, we can store passwords and descriptions, all those things. And you can determine who can see them. You can even, quite importantly, store credentials in there that you can let people know exist, but not let them see them. This seems subtle. It seems really a strange edge case, but it's really a pretty common use case for MSP technicians, where you want them to know that there's a credential there, but not grant them access until they really need access to it. TechIDManager does that. There's a lot of other icons up here that help do a lot of other privileged account management things that are specific to MSPs. You can see the history, you can see the credential, you can force rotation of passwords, both one at a time or en masse, because every cybersecurity reaction, every incident plan, one of the first things it says is, if you think there's something's happened, rotate the administrator password, rotate your password. That is the first or second line in all incident response plans. TechIDManager does that automatically every 24 hours for every account. So you get that significant level of instantaneous reaction, whether you think something's happened or not. And if you think something's happened in the middle of the day, you can force that password rotation on a credential, which is very powerful. You can do this both at technician level and at the entire agent or client level. That's a real quick, brief overview of some of the power and things that TechIDManager provides. And this is our word of the day: unified privileged account management system, unified credential management system. It does a lot of other things. We have agents that run a lot of places. There's a lot of integrations you can do. There's integrations into Hoodoo and IT Glue and all kinds of things like that. But this is the general overview of TechIDManager. We help technicians at MSPs use and access a variety of different places that they need to get into and do things. We'd love to show you in more detail. You can always go to TechIDManager.com and schedule a demo. We would love to talk more one-on-one with you about how your MSP technicians are accessing client networks, how we can improve that, and all of the other things around that. All right? It's been great talking today. I hope that you come check out TechIDManager.com and come do a demo. Love to talk to you one-on-one. Have a great day.